Federation, which is the certifying body for professional chefs and cooks throughout the nation as far as our skills testing. So again, we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on. Today, the primary focus and what we want to discuss is our culinary program here at Riverfront Park, as well as what we do as a company. And I think that with a little bit of explanation, you'll be able to see the difference. So we're going to start with who we are. This photo is a portion of my staff. It's difficult to get everybody at the same place at the same time. Obviously, we operate 7 days a week, no matter what. So we are always here, and we staff accordingly as such. But really, let's talk about the team. First and foremost, without them, none of this is possible, what we do here. In the big picture, it really starts with our founder and CEO, Michael Schoenbrunn, who uh, allows us to, as chefs and cooks, through the autonomy that we have in each community, to really exercise his vision uh, as a leader in the culinary field in senior living. Uh, we are excited to be a part of this company because they are so supportive of what we do. In the kitchen, and on a daily basis, I rely on everybody in my charge to make things happen. So these folks that you're looking at are a big part of that. For me, as a product of a traditional European apprenticeship, I'm a firm believer in the brigade system. So what that means for us is that in our kitchen, we have myself, we have sous chefs, we have lead cooks, we have bakers, we have cooks, we have apprentices, and we have stewards, and our stewards are the folks that help keep everything clean, essentially what you would consider a dishwasher. Everybody with a designated role, and we want to ensure that obviously everything that we do is completed as efficiently as possible. The other part of that system that is crucial is upward mobility. So for us, it's very much an incentive that everybody is cross-trained, everybody understands everybody else's role, and that way they're able to move to the next level when those opportunities come up, and they're more invested in training the people who are behind them so that those jobs can be taken as well. It's very much it's a traditional system, and it's very much based on the military, but it incentivizes people to come to work, and it keeps people happy. So that is an important part of what we do here. All right, so talking about what we believe, and this part certainly rings true for me. When you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I'm
We
one of
can
the,
listen.
sorry?
Yeah, it's okay.
Um,
Put it on boot or something.
okay. So for myself and the entire culinary team, our philosophy is really pretty simple. We've got a commitment to the craft. We are passionate culinarians. The typical staffing model that you're going to see in a senior care or a senior living environment, you hear terms like dietary aid. That's something we never say. We are not a dietary department. The culinary process for us here really starts with the three P's, or procurement, preparation, and presentation. So when I talk about procurement, what I'm talking about is the fact that we have access to any and all the products any restaurant or hotel in downtown Denver would have. Obviously, that's where we're located. So on any given day, any of the trucks you see driving around downtown, they're going to stop here at Balfour as well. So we have a great assortment of purveyors and product that we are able to use every day, and that obviously makes our job a lot easier. The second P, preparation. From the fabrication of fish and proteins, our scratch baking approach, in-house production of soups, stocks, and soups, we're not cutting corners. We are able to do everything or as much as possible in-house by hand. And that really is something that helps us out on a daily basis. And the truth of it is, which I would argue with anybody on this, is that a well-trained cook is far more fiscally responsible as a company and as a kitchen than bringing in a bunch of convenience products or bringing in different foods that save us time. If I have the properly trained staff, the more we're able to do in-house, obviously that translates in quality to our residents and our future residents, but it also allows us to really buy higher quality proteins and higher quality fresher fish, things like that, because we're doing the work in-house. We're not paying somebody else to cut it. We're not paying somebody else to make a soup that we just reheat. So again, the investment in the staff and the investment in the time that we take to train people, it benefits everybody across the board. And obviously it shows itself on the plate. Again, going back to our staffing model, the more each individual knows, the better we are. The consumer of the food and the company itself benefit, like I had mentioned. And again, it's an investment in the skill sets of our staff, which long-term as an employer benefits us as well. And lastly, we talked about presentation, and that's a very big piece of what we do here. Obviously, people eat with their eyes. We strive to put our best foot forward on every one of our canvases, and for us, a canvas is a plate. So we are always constantly reviewing that. We are always sharing those images with our executive director or other communities. We want people to see what we're doing, and we want our food to look as beautiful as it tastes. And so we will, these pictures are from events inside, and then obviously inside the building, and then a picture there on the end of us who we're working on a special dinner that we did a few months ago as we opened up the dining room, which was nice. But I think those pictures speak for themselves, and that is really what we are looking to do on a daily basis. Everybody is responsible, and everybody has ownership of what plates look like. It's not just a process of putting things down and putting it up for the wait staff to take out. We want to make sure that things are clean, lines are appropriate, and that it's visually stunning. Again, the center of the plate, when I talk about that, these are some good examples. That steak is a prime filet, and that is something that we have access to, and we will order that prime meat when we can and when it's available. The scallop, again, is a fresh scallop. I think sometimes people get confused about fresh fish and the fact that we're in Denver, Colorado. And I find myself reminding people that the U.S. Postal Service is always on commercial flights. And Seattle Fish, which is a company here in Colorado, has sorry. So we have access to fresh fish. We have access to all of those things. And so when you think about why Riverfront Park, and I'm obviously a big proponent of this, as it's my department, we say it's the food. We want people to move in and realize that you're going to have a very good experience every day, every meal, and that's what sets us apart. All right, in addition to that, and this is a very big piece here for all of the departments, all of our staff, all of our management team, is that all of our residents here have direct, regular access to all of the teams, all of the management, all of our directors. And I find myself talking every day when I'm in the hallway with different residents about different things. We have myself and our dining director, we have an online format right now, which we discuss everything that goes on in a week with residents that are interested on Monday morning. And they do not hesitate, and they bring full feedback to us at any given time. And we also, we will discuss things that are good and things that are bad, and they are not shy to give us their feedback. And I think that one of my favorite parts of that is that we are able to get input, get recipes as far as the kitchen staff goes. If somebody wants to see something prepared a certain way, that is something that we are more than willing to do. I have taken a lot of feedback from some of our residents, and the thing I like to share about is brisket. So I've been cooking brisket for quite a long time, and I told some of our residents that I would share this story. And there's a specific way that a majority of people here would like to see it. And it took me a few times to get it right, but they were patient, and they continue to give me the feedback that I needed. And so brisket preparation here is solely based on what residents want. And that's just one example, because ultimately everybody lives here and we serve everybody every day. And so it's not realistic to think that we're never going to get feedback that is constructive, or feedback that we don't necessarily want to hear. But the best part is that I will see all of you folks the next day, and we can improve on those things every day. So the relationship with our kitchen is different than if you're at a restaurant or if you're at a hotel. We cook for our people and we see them every day. Town hall is also a way that we're able to connect with residents. That's a monthly format where everybody can speak with everybody else. And then we have a dining services subcommittee, and that's a monthly meeting where, again, the voice of the residents is brought to us, and we're able to really address issues in real time or through LifeLoop, which is an in-house communication system. And I get emails every day from residents, again, whether it's good or bad, but it gives me an opportunity to hear constructive criticism and respond to that, both in action with different recipes or different food, and then through email as well. So we do take advantage of that. And it's for some of my younger staff, I think that the bluntness of this generation sometimes is a little bit harder for them to deal with, but it really does help us know exactly what people want. And so we appreciate that very, very much. Continuous evolution of our cuisine. Again, referred to this a few times. The development of our team members is really the key here. The development of their skill sets, because it offers us an opportunity to promote within, whether it be in this building or another community. As the company grows, as our culinary program grows, the best employees are the ones that are with you for a long time. COVID has taught us and taught me in our kitchen that, if you keep people creative, you keep people interested in coming to work, they'll stay. And that's been really, really positive for us. I have not lost anybody in over a year, and that has kept our continuity strong, because we, just like everybody else, had to deal with the COVID situation, but we were fortunate and were able to come to work every day and provide meals every day. And the delivery of those meals was different at times, but our staff has stayed together, and that's not something I'm used to. With 25 years of experience, it's hard to keep good people, and we've been able to do that here. So we appreciate that part of it, and I think our staff does as well. I think Balfour as a whole, for all of our employees, they take very good care of us, and we appreciate that part. Speaking of the elevation and the evolution of our cuisine, the thing I tell my staff all the time is that tomorrow we need to be better than today. That has to do with everything that we do, from how we sweep and mop to how we store the food to how we receive our food. We are always driven to do better. And I think, again, that has to do with being in front of our consumers every day. They know when we do very well, and they know when we do medium well, if you will. So it's a competitive environment for us to keep our people happy. Something I learned a long time ago as an apprentice was repetition is the mother of perfection. And we take that seriously. I don't think that perfection is a goal that we shoot for, but we want to get closer to it every day. And that is something that the staff has bought into, very much so, and they take that very seriously. The other thing on this slide it says old school our way. And so for me, it's important that I understand our demographic, and that our staff understands our demographic and our residents, and what they grew up eating, what they are used to eating, and what they want to see. That said, the demographic is always changing. So, we have a clientele here that ranges from the Depression era to the World War II to, we're starting to see baby boomers. So we do have a wide range of folks here that want to see different things. And it's important to understand that everybody's got different preferences and what that looks like. So everything for us, regardless, is based on the tradition, based on how we were taught, what we learned, and techniques that are, literally hundreds of years old. They predate everybody, but um, we also want to know what trends are out there. We want to know what younger people are eating, what my staff is interested in, and be able to um, incorporate all of those things on a daily basis. Again, we're in the heart of downtown Denver, and our residents have the ability at any given time to leave the community and go eat somewhere else. And so actually, as of late, as things have started to open back up, I've spent a lot of time starting to go out and see what's on other menus, and I'm proud of what we have showcased here, because if you were to look at our menu versus some of the other restaurants in downtown Denver, you would see similar things. And I'd like to think that we are executing a little bit better than our competition. But at the end of the day, we are definitely of an old school mentality. We are of an old school training style, and that is important that our staff understands that, and we present it in a way that is as modern as any place else. But everything I was taught, everything I did growing up as a kid or in the kitchen, was based on, you know, my main chef mentor and my dad, and that had to do with hard work and being consistent and keeping people happy with your food. So fundamentals open the door to creativity, and one thing I talk to my staff all the time is that we're going to walk before we run, and we want to make sure that our residents recognize that on the plate. We want to make sure that things are consistent. So it's also important that we mention in this building, because some communities do things a little bit different. So we are independent living, we are assisted living, and we are memory care. And when I say one vision, three venues, essentially what that means is all three phases of our building have the same menu. They have the same access to the same food. Now there are different protocols for memory care, and our memory care director is very specific about what she wants to see. But we don't have a different menu for memory care. We provide everything to everybody, and that's something that obviously works for us as a kitchen for organization and timing and flow. But we appreciate being able to offer all of the same food to all of our residents every day, and I think that they appreciate that as well. And so, everybody is a part of the same cuisine, and that goes for the kitchen all the way through wait staff, care staff, nursing staff, and ultimately the residents that receive the food. So it's a progressive idea, I think, because in other companies that I have worked for in senior care, we would operate on different menus for different venues, and for us that's not necessary. We really want everybody to have the same experience um, from a food standpoint. So when we look here, we see dining hours, and it's important to, like I said in the beginning, make sure everybody understands that we are here to serve essentially 24/7 as needed, but our operating hours are similar to what you would find in a hotel. We're open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. Um, and Sundays it looks a little bit different because we have brunch, but food is available all the time, and we work with other departments in the building to ensure that we're able to feed people during our off hours, or that food is accessible. But again, it's a full service, full-time job for us, and we are always on call, and that's one of the benefits as well, as it gives us an opportunity to provide for people around the clock and all week. And I think that our hours give us an opportunity to hit people's different needs and different wants when it comes to dining. So, if you want to eat at 11:30, you eat at 11:30. If you want to eat dinner earlier or later, we have those options as well. So it really is. I think it's a different animal than what people walking in the door, as far as my staff goes, think. Again, this is a progressive company as a whole, and I think our culinary program speaks to that. And we're able to attract good talent. We're able to, provide the best service possible for everybody. And again, as COVID slowly but surely starts to wind down, I'm seeing more people that are ready to make that commitment coming from other kitchens and other parts of the industry into our kitchens, because truly the work-life balance is something that's different for most people. And that's one of the reasons I got into senior living was it, my kids were younger then, and it gives me an opportunity to spend more time with them, but still stay committed to my craft and the work I need to do on a daily basis. So I will open up the floor to any questions. And it's always hard on a Zoom format to see who is asking a question, but please feel free if you have anything.
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
So your dining hours, are those for all three settings, for AL, memory care, and independent living, those 7 to 7:30 and with brunch?
Well, there's a little bit of difference in the brunch. The brunch menu, or the brunch time frame, excuse me, is in independent living. So what we do for independent living on Sundays is we will not have the early morning food service. We'll do brunch during the day, and then we will do a takeout format Sunday evening. Assisted living and memory care, due to regulations, they need 3 meals a day, every day. So we're open all the time for those two venues.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Chef, can you talk about the meal that you prepared, the lunch that you prepared today?
Yes, thank you. I would have completely forgot that. So today what we did was a cream of cauliflower, and that soup actually, I made that this morning, and it has a multitude of different milks in it because I wanted to get a little bit of the sweet and a little bit of the earthy. So it's got heavy cream, it's got some almond milk, it has some oat milk, and I put some just whole milk in there as well. A little bit of chicken stock, cauliflower, a tiny bit of butter to finish it at the end, white pepper, salt, and a little bit of the truffle salt as well. So I think it's light enough and refreshing enough, even though it is a cream soup. It matches the weather today, so I got lucky with that. That Caesar salad is our house Caesar salad. That's something that we serve every day here. Again, developed over the last 2 years that I've been here. That crouton in specific was a request of one of our residents. The white anchovy is something that is sometimes controversial because in the past I've been accused of putting minnows on the Caesar salad, but people do enjoy it, and it's not quite as salty as the black anchovies. Then for your entree options, what we did was a pistachio crusted cod with a couscous salad and a blood orange vinaigrette. The other entree was the bone-in filet. That was some blue cheese butter on top there. The wilted treviso, which is basically a radicchio or a bitter lettuce, and then the grilled asparagus. Dessert, we did creme brulee, and it works out because we pretty much do creme brulee every Tuesday here. That's one of my favorite things to make. It's one of the first things I learned as an apprentice years and years ago, and it's been pretty consistent for me. And then the challah bread was baked this morning. So we're proud of that. We make a lot of bread in house, and that, I think you can tell the difference on that.
The whole meal was delicious.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
We appreciate that. Other questions?
I didn't get to try mine yet. They delivered it at like 5 to 1, but I'm excited to try it. It looks amazing. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
What are some of those myths, Chef, that I'm sure you'll have some chats with colleagues in the industry, and what are some of the misconceptions, and I'll just call them misconceptions that people have about being in the culinary arts in a senior living environment?
Sure. I think, and some of it honestly is justified because we still see in the industry, we still see, and it's important to talk about, I think, we see people that have very small budgets as far as chefs and kitchens go. We see that people are serving, if you will, a fruit cup that comes out of a plastic cup with a tinfoil top on it. And those are the examples that kind of starts the perpetuated myth. So whenever I talk to my colleagues, and I've been doing this for a while now, so they all know what I'm doing, but you know, everybody thinks we're going to cook a filet and throw it in the blender and all of those types of things, or that everything is canned fruit or fruit cocktail or green beans out of a can. And so, and trust me, the flip side of that is we do have residents here that want green beans out of a can, and they and I will go back and forth on that, and we're not going to serve those, and they understand that piece. But I think part of it too is that, you know, all we do for dessert is pudding, and all we ever serve is ice cream, and it's just not the case. And so the best part about it for me and for my staff members, who a majority of them went through the same training program that I went through, and we have current students, is that, you know, the company supports us as chefs individually. So for the most part, I can do whatever I want, and I can do that on a daily basis. And that's where, when I talk to my colleagues professionally, they're in a bind and I am not. So what we do takes more time. What we do takes more care, but it allows us to kind of live that dream as cooks, where, you know, if we want to get a whole pork loin in and we want to break it down and we want to use those bones and make pork stock for our ham and bean soup, we're going to do that. And that's where it's different. That's where it's different for us. And it, like I said, it requires diligence and it requires discipline, but it allows us to provide things, A, that are fresh, and then B, those special requests that I think other people can't do.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so I was wondering, because I love to cook, and I was wondering, do the residents eat all their meals there, or do they choose a certain amount of meals to eat there? You know, what does that look like?
Right. So that is a very good question. That's an important question. So independent living in this building is exactly that. So every residence that is in the independent living side of the community has a full kitchen, has a full laundry, has everything that anybody needs to live completely independently. I think that if I were to give you a percentage on that, I would say people go about 50-50 in their day. So we'll see them certainly for dinner, if not lunch. The way that we provide continental is it's essentially anybody's welcome to that during the hours of 7 to 10. So I think we do see quite a few people in the morning. In regards to assisted living, those units do not have the full kitchen and do not have the full cooking apparatus. So they rely on us to provide meals 3 times a day, whether it is in the dining room or not. That's something that the way that their fees are structured, that's a guarantee to them. And then memory care, the same thing. So the clinical side is provided, and I think independent living, we can see based on the day, and we can track our numbers and see how much people are really eating. But I would say it sounds goofy to say this, about 1.5 meals a day on independent living is what we're seeing our residents eat.
No, that makes sense. I have another question though too. So when you prepare the menus, about how many choices do you have per meal? And then do you post the menus weekly so that people can kind of make up their minds, like if they want to go out to eat or if they choose to cook a meal at home?
No, again, very good question. So we have our house menu, which we change essentially quarterly or seasonally, and that is the same for the entire building. And that menu all together is about 30 items, and it's broken down just like a restaurant menu. Our first course, our smaller plates, our entrees, our desserts. And then I do a special sheet every day, and that is usually 4 items plus a dessert. And the truth is on that, and again, we started to track this, I would say about 90% of everything that we sell on a daily basis comes from the specials. So I'm really proud of our menu, and I'm proud of the opportunity and the option that everybody has every day if they can't find something on the special sheet. But that, no pun intended, the special sheet is really our bread and butter. and it gives people a very good choice. And then we do a couple things verbally, which again really has been driven by residents. So we'll do a vegetarian option every day. We do not have any vegans in-house per se, but we do have some folks that are kind of specific about what they can eat dietary wise. And over time, we just, we said we'll do it. So we'll do something that's definitely non-meat, not always a vegan option, but we do that as well. And then, we've got a wide range of vegetables, but then we'll do a veg of the day. So we really do try to keep the interest level up. And we really do try to exercise, again, like I said, we have the ability to bring these products in. So on any given day, and I know what's going to be more popular than other things, but, we'll serve rabbit here. We serve plenty of bison here. We'll do quail tomorrow. I serve Rocky Mountain oysters at least once a month. And so we've got a really good palate to play with, and our residents appreciate it, I think.
So it sounds to me like fine dining in Denver.
No, absolutely. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because the one thing that, again, full disclosure, is I certainly have my residents, like I mentioned, that want canned green beans, want a baked potato with every meal. And so we're there we have to be able to appease them as well. And so we're able to do that. Again, it's really understanding the different elements of the demographic, excuse me. So it is fine dining for sure, but we'll put biscuits and gravy on the menu. I'll run a chicken fried steak. There's no issue there. We will run meatloaf at least twice a month. So the part I like is being able to definitely hit the cues that the company wants us to do. But in this building, it's unrealistic for me to say, well, all I'm going to do is fine dining. I've got to have some comfort food. I've got to have some stuff people are used to seeing, but it all blends together really, really well. And that's what makes it very much enjoyable. If you look on our website and you look at Riverfront Park specifically, you should be able to find a copy of our house menu there.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Jeff,
There's a,
so I was gonna, so you've done so many, you've covered so many wonderful areas about the dining venues. What about the building overall? One of the things that I think you do so exceptionally well is you partner with the Life Enrichment Team and other departments about events that culinary is a part of, so many special events and programs that happen.
Absolutely. And thank you, Brandy, for bringing that up. So on a daily basis, and this is every day here, and it's something that, again, is a different part of my job that's different than some of my counterparts in restaurants, is that we do events every day. And some of them are smaller, some of them are larger. The most recent one that we did was Seder dinner last week, and that was a dining room event, but all coordinated by Life Enrichment. We support that department a great deal, whether it be happy hour appetizers, whether they are doing a baking class, whether we are providing birthday cakes for residents. We don't really know what's next, and that's part of it that, again, is good for us, because if they ask for it, we do our best and we put it together for them. So I would say on any given day, and things slowed down a little bit during COVID, but we could have 6 to 8 events every day where we're providing food, whether it's a plate of macaroons, whether it's a full luncheon for the ladies' luncheon or the men's breakfast. So yeah, it's that part of our kitchen is also very, very busy. We do a lot across the community with everybody.
so you're kind of like a private chef, a caterer with 200 regulars in your restaurant.
And an amazing educator to boot, so that he can actually get a few hours of sleep.
Well, no, sleep's not part of it. No, it is that, and I think that's part of it from a cook standpoint that keeps it fresh for all of us is that on any given day, we certainly know the things we have to do every day, but there is such a mix of events and a mix of specific requests. And to the catering point, now it's starting to happen a little bit more frequently, but we will do things for residents privately. We do anniversary parties all the time. We do birthday parties all the time. And we're able to provide that service start to finish. So that part's been really fun too, as we start to loosen up restrictions.
You talked about having your everyday kind of menu and then your daily specials. Rumor has it there's a certain special dish that made it from being a daily special to being a regular on your menu. And I heard that escargot has made the everyday menu. Is that true?
Yes.
Oh,
So,
wow.
well, a couple things about that. So escargot, obviously, classic French style preparation, classical French dish. We have quite a few residents here, which I really appreciate, who were, not as much anymore, but who were traveling the world in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Dr. Guggenheim, and I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning him specifically, is absolutely a Frenchophile. Anything has to do with French food, he loves it, and he will call us on it if it's not right. Now he's been happy with all of those things that we've done, but yeah, escargot, I'll be honest with you, we did not run as a special. We just put it straight on the menu, and it's gone over well. Now a majority of people, I think, don't appreciate it in life. But we feel it, and it's continued to be popular. The other thing that we did just change our menu for the spring season. We do a lot of charcuterie here, so we're doing a lot of pâtés and things of that nature. Those things are being made in-house. And, full disclosure, I switched our country style pâté to a chicken mousse pâté at the request of someone that will remain unnamed. And the feedback has been not exactly what I wanted. And there's a few things I'm going to tweak with that recipe, but I'm very proud of it. And it's something, again, that I don't think you will not look on our competitors' websites and look at their menus and see chicken liver mousse. You just won't see that. And that's something that we're proud of. And again, with feedback from residents, there's some things I'm going to do to change that dish, but people are eating it. And that's the most important part. Question off to my left here is, how did COVID affect our cuisine? And I think that's a good question, because we're not out of the woods yet on that. Basically, what we did in March of 2020 was, in one night, we decided we would close dining rooms and we would go to a to-go format, and obviously with guidance from the state and from our own nursing department and from the company. But truthfully, the only thing that changed for us is that we just reduced the amount of food that was on the menu. And it made life easier, actually, for our wait staff who remained part of our process. It made life easier for residents because they didn't have to look at an entire menu every day. Everything was communicated online, and the order system we put together allowed people, very much like room service, to order the evening in advance for the next day. And so if we find ourselves in any type of situation like that again moving forward, we're prepared for that. And that was something that I think our whole community really did a great job with. It was, everything's normal today, and then tomorrow everything is completely changed, and we do not know how long it's going to last. And the entire building came together. Obviously, Naomi played a huge part in that. But from a food standpoint, really all we did was kind of cut down choices and become incredibly efficient with our delivery service. And
Uh-oh, do we lose Chef?
Oh, we might have lost him, but
Yeah.
my important, maybe in finishing his thought, if I know one of the things Chef Greg and his whole team, because that shift from one night to the next, what he's talking about is going from, you know, residents in independent living who may have done 50% of the time in dining, you know, for one of those meals, shifting to providing all 3 meals a day and as a complimentary service out to each of the residents for all 3 of those meals. He had to become very efficient, and his whole team did deliveries by apartment for the culinary choices still that residents were making within a menu, but reducing it down from about those 35 or plus daily choices that folks would have on that, reducing it a bit so that they could really push out, you know, more than 200 plus meals a day to an entire community of people, as well as associates that were there on property, and making sure the whole team was fed with that love language of food that Chef Greg has, and he does an amazing job at it. So I'm Brandy, by the way. I'm part of our central support team. And so I always learn from Chef Greg and the team at Riverfront Park. And they do have an incredible menu, and whoever noted the, yes, it sounds like fine dining. Over the years, I've been so privileged to be a part of the organization since we launched Riverfront Park and before, but certainly we've been compared in the Riverfront Park culinary experience to some of the finest restaurants in Denver, and I think that's pretty incredible. Naomi Lobel, the executive director, there's Naomi, quite the foodie herself, and enjoys fine dining, certainly around Colorado, but in lots of other travels when able to do that in other years. And leadership matters. And so between her and Chef Greg, it seems certainly they enjoy learning ways to raise the bar of culinary excellence, not just when it comes to senior living, but culinary excellence in general. And I think that's an important distinction. It's not culinary excellence for senior living, it's culinary excellence. So thank you.
Thanks, Brandy. And I got word that they're trying to get back in. Sounds like we had a little glitch in the room that they're in, but if there's any questions for me as the executive director, I'd be happy to address those as well while we wait for the important one, Chef, to come back on. Oh, there he is.
Sorry about that.
Any other questions that any of us might be able to answer for you? Did everyone get their food who was waiting? Yes. Okay, good. Good. All right.
Imagine having to eat that kind of food every day, 3 times a day.
I taste it every day, you know, quality control naturally. Yes, it's an extra 15 pounds since starting at Balfour, so it's delicious.
But that fitness center so busy, Naomi.
That's the downside for me. I have to taste all the desserts.
That's great.
Well, I think it's an important point to note that both you and Chef, it is about residents and their satisfaction, and they're living there in that experience, but you make it such a warm and welcoming environment for guests. So family members and friends to join residents when they can, and experience that they can all be proud of, and do that within the community instead of choosing an outside dining venue because they won't necessarily have a good meal experience. So thank you for your commitment ongoing, and as always to that front.
Thank you.
Anything you want to say in closing, Chef?
You know, now that the building is open and the community is accessible, please come down, you know, plan a tour, have lunch with us, have a meal with us. It's easy to sit here for an hour and talk about how great everything is, but we pride ourselves on being able to show people that when they are in the community. And on a side note, you know, the more people that we are able to bring into Balfour Riverfront Park as a result of our food, at some point I might be able to talk to the people about a commission on that, because that is truly what I am looking for. But no, seriously, thank you everybody for your time. And we appreciate you having lunch with us today and spending your afternoon.
Lunch was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great afternoon.